Yo, 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 what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Nate the Great coming at you with another live. You already know if you're new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. So the returning friends and family, you already know is peace and blessing. And give y'all some time to tune in case these notifications didn't go out. First things first, you already know. Hopefully everybody having a blessed and productive Taco Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. Hopefully everybody was smoothly able to get through the day if you did have to work. And if lucky to work, hey, that's a plus as well too. So, you know, hopefully you got through your day smoothly. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there who actually did the bravest things that they could do. Services will forever be honored and be dedicated to y'all. So, thanks for great service, basically, y'all. And hopefully y'all enjoyed your day. Hopefully y'all tried to keep warm, especially in the city. Yeah, those in the city right now, it's kind of feeling like how it's supposed to feel, or how the old New York City used to feel around this time. Time to start bringing out the jacket at least for another couple days. So hopefully y'all keeping yourselves warm, trying to keep yourselves healthy as possible. You know the weather be switching up from time to time, so appreciate everybody that tuned in for the previous live. Definitely was a great conversation, despite the fact I had to break the live down. I had to break the live down for those who was not here. I had to break it down because apparently I had audio problems. Hopefully we don't have that situation today. James, what's going on, my guy? See them coffee cups. See them coffee cups. But yeah, appreciate everybody that tuned in for both conversations. Basically, you got two for the price of one. So if you missed it, you definitely catch the replays. And hopefully y'all been catching them shorts as well. I told y'all to take my advice and you didn't listen. There's more of those coming. There's more of those videos coming. And you know me, I'm gonna bring up something that I need to bring up. And I think it's about that time again to reiterate on something I was talking about recently. The mindset of trying to do for yourself and not always having to depend on others. Like I was saying, in some instances, how could you build or how could you build family and generational wealth when you're allowing yourself to rely on a system that does the opposite? I mean, it's good for those who actually need it, those who are deserving of it, but for everybody else, if it don't do anything but just basically have you with the lazy mindset, it's the point of utilizing it. You might as well get up and apply yourself, like I said before. Try to find you something. The mindset for some people, because some people will sit here and say I'm my own boss, and not just the women, men too. I'm my own boss. I don't work for nobody. But meanwhile, you don't have nothing. You're not really building nothing. And now, like, you see how we had these critical times just recently. Everybody was almost about to lose their minds. Situations and scenarios like that should prepare you for something better. Diddy baby, Diamond baby. See you up in here. See you up in here. But for some of y'all, you gotta think about it. I mean, really think about that. Some of y'all was just about to go crazy because you wasn't getting what you was supposed to be getting, or they was talking about having no funds for this month and next month. Now, when you think about it, imagine if everything still would have been the same start. You'd have been messed up. And in that small time frame that people really thought it wasn't going to happen, you seen how some people had just lost their mind. Getting critical, you know, it's getting critical now. And this is why I say for some of y'all, look, whatever it is you're good at, try to make it work for you. If it's going to make you $1, if it's going to make you $1,000, if it's going to make you $1,000,000, doesn't matter. You got to start somewhere. Like I said, the point of those programs was mostly for the people that actually needed it, especially if they was falling on hard times or probably lost jobs, or it was different scenarios and why these programs was created. And like I said, I feel the people who really need it and the people that are deserving of it shouldn't be robbed of that. For everybody else, I don't feel bad about it. The reason why I say that is because, like I said, majority of y'all able-bodied workers, ain't nothing wrong with you. You're not physically handicapped, you're not physically disabled, you're not mentally handicapped. Like, come on now. You don't have no health condition to where you can't work. Some of y'all have gotten into this, again, lazy and entitled state. And that's really a bad look to a degree. This is not no, it's not no bash or nothing. I'm just keeping it real. Miss Tink, baby. See you up in here. See you up in here. But yeah, I mean, it's not trying to be funny style. Like I said, I could see if you in dire, desperate need of it because you don't have no other way. Cool. Nobody's knocking you for that. And for those who really are in those situations, hopefully your situations does get better. But if it don't, hey, if you know you are deserving of it and you know do what you got to do. But for some of y'all, you made certain excuses. And it's time to stop using those as a crutch. Like prime example, you got 9 kids, 10 kids, and there's no father or father figure around. There's no form of help. You gotta think about what just previously happened. What happens if we get another shutdown? Or what happens if they really decide they're gonna clip some of these programs for good? Some point, you're gonna have to get it together. And this is where you should start preparing the people like you're supposed to. You don't know what could happen in the next 10, 20 years. Who knows? But again, you want to build some form of wealth. You want to at least leave a blueprint of where, things are transpired throughout the course of history. Then it is time for some of y'all to stop relying on the assistance that you don't need. Assist yourself again and go on to find something good. Some of y'all are good with your hands, but you don't want to get out there and apply that pressure. There's too many avenues, you know, too many avenues for y'all to travel. Shouldn't take but so long to get things in order. Like I was saying recently, and I'm gonna say this again for some that need to hear it. If you already have a child, And prime example, you could barely even afford to feed you and them. Adding another child to the list isn't a good look because again, you never know what could happen. And these last few things that we did have recently over the course of a couple years should have told y'all it's about time to start shifting towards other avenues. The only thing I could say is, it's crazy because again, you got people who would have loved to have gotten some extra help, benefits, and all, but they don't get it. They got to go out just like the common folk, go out there and work. No, I mean, because come on now, Tank. I mean, come on now. There's, like I said, like even when these people was trying to act crazy, right? Oh, I gotta feed my kids. I've been seeing some videos. I've seen some women. I've seen some men, and it's just like it boggles your mind because it's like, I granted, you are trying to take care of what you gotta take care of, but you still got to start somewhere. And when times do get rough and tough, you got to be able to, gotta be able to get what you can get. Multiple ways to try to feed a family, even if times are rough. Again, well, if the government was still in the influx right now, it would have been worse on it. Again, you're gonna have to apply pressure in life. Because this is my thing. If you got $1,000 device or anything clothing wise that's over $1,000, come on now. You should be able to take that same thousand, or you should be able to, instead of splurging your money as soon as you get it, focus on making sure you got enough food stock for the house. Marlene, baby. Apologies for the win, y'all. Apologies for the win, y'all. But this is what I'm saying. It's different ways to feed your family. Like I said, I know prices is going up on certain things. And, it could be a hassle sometimes, even down to the simplest things. Like, but some of y'all, you got to realize again, we going through a lot. We going through a lot, and yeah, we gonna all have to tighten up our belts to some degree. But in the same token, you got a family. The main thing to remember is not letting your family starve. Even if you don't have a family, you still don't want to be out there starving. But in the same token, your priorities should be in check. If I know I need to make sure this rent is paid and I need to make sure I got food in my refrigerator, hey, I'm happy. Anything else, I could deal without. And that's what I'm saying. It's, you gotta just take your time and stop being so irrational and so angry. And just take your time to figure out what you need to figure out. It's going to be a little stressful. You might not know where to start. But once you do, you could get to a better place. And again, some of y'all that need to hear this, you could get your butt up and go work. Like I said, ain't nothing wrong with your legs, arms, scalp piece, none of that. Why is it so hard for some of y'all to say, you know what, I can make this thing happen if I just put it in the work and apply myself? Like I said, some of y'all that are good with your hands, get into that construction field, get into carpentry, get to plumbing, HVAC definitely can do something, and that can start you up. And even with the HVAC prime example, even if you're not working on a certain site, you can do your own thing. Shoot, you probably start your own company at some point. Yes, Marlene, the scout piece. Appreciate you for dropping those links, James. But this is the thing though. If you know you're good and skilled with your hands, go to work. You got the money to do everything you need to do to get qualified for your jobs, and go do it. Some of these programs are still free to, and you don't necessarily have to be on the public assistance or none of that. There are some programs that are free for people no matter what. But again, you got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. Think about it. You know, get into that field. You know, it's not just your checks gonna be looking good, but you'll feel good about something. Yeah, you'll be tired, but you'll feel good because you're being a part of progression as we speak. You know, a lot of these places that are understaffed could be full staff. You know, again, find what really drives you and then jump into it. You know, that's all you really got to do, though. You have to. You have to motivate yourself to want to be better and achieve for great. Not going to achieve nothing if the only thing it's doing is just lying on your backside. Now, see, this is my thing. Like I said, you know, prime example, you know, even down to the process of elimination. You know who's for you because when you start making good moves and you start doing the right things and you start elevating, you know, if you got the right people around you, they might elevate right along with you. Some people will be upset, you know. Some people will be upset when you start making the drastic changes in your life. And that's all good. Want to know why it's all good? Because again, it's more about what you're feeling. It's more about what's logical at the point, you know? And if you feel prime example, you want the best for yourself, certain things you might have to cut loose. Or you might have to spend less time on. There's nothing wrong with progression and elevation in life. Because again, you don't want to be stuck at the bottom forever. But you also don't want to be stuck in the middle forever neither. So this is why it's important to try to figure out what your next course and your next steps is going to be. And again, from there, you make it work. Some of y'all are good with technology, good with computers, you know, good with everything as far as the IT tech is concerned. Get into that field. Shit, even with that as a credential, hey, you certified. That means you could work on anything. People might need computers fixed, laptops fixed. Shoot, if you get into that, even with tablets, phones, things along that nature, hey, you can start something from right there. I knew some people, and I think I know a couple people right now actually doing that. Yeah, they working though, but in the same token, they also got this little part time, and that part time is doing their own thing because they are certified in fixing phones and fixing devices. That's a good field to be in too, because people are gonna need that. Right now, we're in a technological age, so you could be sitting here setting yourself up to, you know, get you into bigger, better places. You could be starting from home, and before you know it, You could probably 9 out of 10 land yourself in one location, and then you could build multiple. Then you'll be able to, prime example, give back opportunities to those who might need it. You could be a part of that. But, you just, again, you have to apply the knowledge and then put in the work. So even if you're good in that field, you're good in the IT tech field, technology field, yeah, get into that. What's stopping you? You know what's stopping some of y'all from getting into even that field? It's your mindset. You're either too comfortable or you too scared. And it's all right to be scared. Monique, baby, be safe on the road, baby. But yeah, you got to get out of that mindset. You got to get out that fearful mindset and really just step into it. See, this is the thing. Some people will say that the system is holding them back from becoming great or creating generational wealth. That's not always the case. But Larry, what's going on, sis? You up in here? Well, see, this is my thing. The only thing that's ever holding anybody back from being at the top of their game and being in the best places is yourself. If you allow certain things to poison and cripple your mind, you're gonna always doubt yourself, or you're just gonna get to a point where you feel like it's not even worth it. But if you know it's worth it, if you know it's definitely gonna do something and it's gonna bring something to the forefront, even for the future, hey, really is time for some of y'all to just let those traumas and let those doubts go. Certain things that you was taught, you might have to unlearn, and you might have to unlearn them for good reasons, which again is important. Geraldine, baby, frugal, baby. Who else popped up in here? My bad, y'all. Trying to catch up with Chad as well too. But yeah, there's nothing stopping you from being your best you. It's only you that's doing it. You'll hear some people cry about, oh, I didn't get this and because of this. No, you got to look within yourself first. Serious, baby. Taco burritos, taco burritos. And that's another fact right there, team. Like I said, some people are allowing certain things to hold them back. It's not just the system. Some people are allowing past traumas, or some people are trauma bonding with things that happened in early history and using that as a escape tool. Like I said, mental oppression is probably the worst oppression. And it is the worst. Because with some people, they gonna feel like everything is owed to them because of what our ancestors went through. Mm-mm. It don't work like that. Because it didn't work like that for anybody else. Just because we know what happened in history don't mean that we keep reliving it. Definitely doesn't mean that we use that as a crutch. Like, come on now. What does something that what does something that happened over 70, 80 years ago got to do with us now? We in 2025, about to be in 2026. On some realness. What's stopping us? What's stopping some of us from building up our communities from the ground up, even with our own resources? Oh, that's right. Some of us don't have resources. But there are people who can be resourceful. And that's the thing. It don't take much for some of y'all to just say, you know what, as much as this sound good, I don't think I want to wait every month. And even if I gotta wait every month, at least let it be my own money I'm waiting for. I ain't waiting for no assistance, no help, no nothing. This is me doing what I gotta do. That really is something to think about though. In order to get to greater places, you're gonna have to do what's necessary. And again, you might have to make some compromises and some sacrifices, but it's gonna be worth it in the long run. Because once you start seeing the fruits of your labor and start seeing how successful things are going, you're pretty much in the driver's seat. The only thing you gotta do is not lose control. Some of y'all are great with graphic design and AI and all that other goodness, right? Why some of y'all not getting into those fields of play? That's money right there. Not just money. That's a doorway for you to start something on your own. Like I said, there's a lot of different variables that are at play. But for some of y'all, again, you will use all of this old trauma bonding and old history that we've been taught. You'll get to that lazy point again. I've said this before. Don't nobody owe you nothing. You owe yourself. You owe yourself. And if you got a family, you owe them as well too. Because it is your job. Young men and women out there, and even for you older men and women out there, that is your job. Again, when your kids is fully grown and you ain't got nobody else to look after, take care of, hey, you do what you gonna do. But you still gotta be wise because again, you are making clear decisions. And if you make the wrong one, it could make you go belly up. And I believe don't nobody want to go bankrupt or basically lose out on everything that they worked hard for. You have to be careful all around the board, period. You know? Shout out to the best mods in the chat right now. Shout out James and shout out Serious Baby. Nah, y'all really appreciate it for real. And sometimes I be in the zone and I don't be catching everything, but y'all make the team work, the dream work, and vice versa. I appreciate y'all for that. But yeah, you got to think about that. You know, some people you're gonna have to give them harsh, and how they say, you got to give them tough love. Because for some people, if you try to attack them with the calm, cool collectiveness, they ain't gonna get it. It's sad you gotta do that to some people, but in the same token, it is helping to motivate the son. You already know, serious baby. D, don't come back in here without my plate of chicken. Hold on. Let me take a brief intermission. Didi, I don't smell no fried chicken in the chat. Sirius, lock the door. James, get the coffee machine. About that time. It is about that time. Oh yeah, you like my little thumbnail? Yes. Yeah. Don't tell me leave Didi alone. I'm gonna keep bothering him. Keep bothering him. Matter of fact, give me 1 second, y'all. Right. There we go. There we go. There we go. Don't start co-signing none of that crap. Don't start co-signing that. See, don't start co-signing that. But yeah, you got to think about it, y'all. There's nothing that's stopping anybody from building, growing, and even building the way they're supposed to build for their communities. But what do you actually see yourself doing? Because for some of y'all, you got this mindset like, again, I'm gonna just live off the land forever and not try to elevate myself to something greater. But then again, you can't cry and mope about certain things if you're not willing to do what's necessary again. You know? But that's what I'm saying. Gotta think about that, y'all. It's important for you to establish yourself, and again, knowing yourself well. Like I said, if you're good with your hands, get into anything as far as construction is concerned. If you're good with technology, electronics, and all of that, get into that field. You can make your own things happen. Some of y'all prime examples could actually do something good if you good with tattoo arts. You know, you got independent tattoo artists as you speak now. If you good with body arts and all of that, get into that field. If you definitely got a shoe in for it, you could be doing your own thing. See, again, it's different fields that people could get into, especially if you feel that is your niche. And you can make something work. You can make something generational out of that. At least the start of it. But again, you gotta want to do it. Like I said, nothing should hold you back. Friends, family, past traumas. And if you do got past traumas that is kind of blocking you from getting to your next steps in life, you better go get some professional help, get yourself right, and then keep moving forward. You have to have a good and clear mindset when you are on your path to greatness. And you also got to be consistent. Again, there's nothing wrong with applying yourself to life. And I would say for some that need to hear it, if you know you're not in the greatest positions to feed extra mouths or be responsible, you better think twice about creating that family structure, like I said before. Because right now, times are getting difficult. And to be quite honest, you don't know where to go from there. But you want to at least make sure your family's set up, you set up, and everything's good. You good with mechanics? I would say get into that field as well too. You good with fixing cars, taking apart cars, putting them back together. Get into that. Mess around, start off somewhere small, and then end up having your own. Hey, what's going on, my guy? Wait a minute. This must be your other page, son. 'Cause you know you was modded up, son. Hold on, son. Hold on, son. I see a lot of light skin activities. I forgot that. But yeah, you just got to remember that. It's solely up to you to push yourself forward. Can't let nothing knock you back. Yeah, life is going to throw you a bunch of boulders, but you could crack those boulders or create something out of it. Damn, son. I'm gonna mod you up after this live. All right, I got you. Yeah, but come on now. In some instances, you get sick and tired of hearing that same old mumbo jumbo. I can't do this because the system won't let me do it. System is denying me this. We can't grow because of this. You could grow in multitudes of ways. Shoot, before a lot of these programs was thought about, how do you think people survived back in the day? They just had to make do with whatever was given. And again, had to apply themselves. Nothing in life is going to be easy, but it shouldn't be that hard, especially again when you say you're trying to get to the next steps and the next levels. So what you going to do to get there? That is a question that should be asked. How you going to get there? What you going to do when you do get there? Oh, are you going to be able to maintain and sustain everything? Or are you going to let it fall through your hands? But again, it's a little motivation for some that need to hear it, like I said. Um, can't just rely off of living off the land, like I said. You are gonna have to start doing for yourself. How you gonna do it? Again, gotta build up your self confidence. Again, you know what you're good at. Utilize it. It'll be one step further towards your main goal. And there's nothing wrong with again elevation and progress. And if you know you got the wrong type of influences around, cut your ties. And I say it for good reason because again, it's about elevation for you. Even if you want to elevate the people around you who are deserving of it, again, they got to be doing their own thing. Some people are too loyal by default, and sometimes that could be costly. So again, even if you are trying to elevate the right people around you, again, they got to put in the work as well. Again, there's nothing wrong with getting yourself right, because then again, you could also start helping those out again who need it. You can go from being an employee to the employer. And how great would that feel, especially when you work at fought tooth and nail to get there? It's gonna feel great. Ain't nothing that's gonna set you back. So, it's good to start getting into these fields of play again while you still got the opportunities to do so. Because at some point, for the areas or for the companies that are short staffed, at some point, they're gonna be back full staff. And when it does start getting back to that point of there really is no positions opened at this point, some of y'all is really gonna be upset. Like I said, you don't know what is gonna transpire in the next few years. And the fact that again you are trying to utilize only one thing and relying on one thing just to get by, it should tell you something. It should be a change in that. Again, once you start making those changes, hey, you want to see the difference. Things that was either seeming too expensive or the things that was seeming to be out of arm's length and reach will be right there in reach. Whatever goals and plans you might have had, at least you know some of them will still get fulfilled. Again, you get out there and do what's necessary. Again, nobody owes you nothing. You owe it to yourself to be a greater influence in life. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to make differences or create them differences within that family tree. Your time. And again, there's nothing wrong with solid elevation. For some of y'all, you'll be able to see exactly who want to see you rise and who want to see you win, and who want to see you fall or stay where you at right now. Prime example, some of y'all like to go out. Some of y'all like to go out to these events and have good times. But if you ain't even got the money for these events, how you think you gonna go? East Dad, what's going on, my guy? Something you should think about though. There's a lot of go out to these events. You want to be a part of these functions and stuff. And the same token, how you gonna do that when you're broke? Oh, you already know, James. My fault. I'm catching up with the chat to a degree too. I'll make sure I didn't miss nobody. But you already know how we do, my guy. Come on, son. Coffee cups in the chat, son. Coffee cups in the chat. No, but that's pretty much everything in a nutshell. Nobody owes you nothing. And if you want to achieve something, you are gonna have to get out there and go do it and make it happen. And if you fall the first time, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, try again. Again, the goal should be never quit. The goal should always be constant motivation. Okay, if this didn't work for me, maybe this might work for me. But again, you have to be, goal orientated. Gotta be ambitious. like I said, only oppression you are suffering right now, and I see that some of y'all again keep trying to utilize or use as a crutch is it's owed to me. They oppressing me. They won't allow me to win. They won't allow me to do this. No, it's you. Because you could break through those barriers. There are people who have been in certain scenarios where it seemed impossible. They made the impossible happen. Because again, they didn't give up. They didn't give up on their dream. They didn't give up on their goals. They didn't give up on their aspirations. Yeah, I know, bro. Try to stay warm out there, man. Trust me. I know we're gonna be going through it the next couple nights. I know. But it feels good to some degree. I ain't gonna lie, it does. And it's been quiet. They stay that way. But yeah, again, mental oppression is probably the worst oppression because again, it stops you from elevating and succeeding in the higher planes of life. Now again, for some, good to teach history and teach the history as an insight. But also, you're gonna pass on different things. Just remember this. Um, it shouldn't hinder nor stop your growth, period. Know your family's growth. It's good to know history, but it's also good to remember history is what it was. History. We could be a part of history, could be a part of changing history, and could be in those same books. But it could be different. Now, you gotta remember, certain situations you know, have a problem. And in the same token, this is why it's important for you to start doing what you gotta do for yourself now. Do what's right for your family now. Again, nobody owes you nothing. For some of y'all that really feel that way, I'm sorry. But you definitely are gonna have to do something better. James number 8, what's going on, my guy? I already know if y'all just tuned in, hit the like button. And if y'all new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. But you wanna change the trajectory of things. Some of y'all, you should again just be focusing on living off the land forever. It's like I said before, at some point, you're gonna have to put back into the land. And that's gonna be important for you. This like I said, who wants to be laid up waiting at the end of the month? And you could be making triple that. And some of y'all, you have gotten too complacent and gotten too comfortable with that. Thinking, oh, only thing I need is assistance, and that's it. I don't gotta work. I don't gotta do nothing. I'ma sit here and just do nothing. But now, since we done had this scenario with the government shutting down at one point and things almost getting cut completely, now some of y'all should have the mindset to say, nah, it's time for me to move off this because who knows how long this is going to be, at least for me. Rooks, baby, coming out the shadows, baby. James number 8, man. Condolences, my guy. Condolences. My fault. I'm catching up with the chat, y'all. Um, but yeah, and my bad. I gotta run back outside for a second. So you might hear some stuff you ain't supposed to be hearing. Good to see you though, sis. Hope all well with you and the fam. Uh, and James again. Condolences to you and the fam, bro. You already know if you need to vent, do anything, son. You already know, son. We here. We here, bro. And this is why I say to a degree, you know, at some point, some of y'all again are gonna have to start relying on yourselves. Stop relying on these systems and these programs. Like I said, unless you actually need it, it's time for some of y'all to get off of it. It's time for some of y'all to not even think about getting on them. Because again, the only thing it's going to do is stunt your growth. James number 8, you already know, my guy. Come on, son. You fam up in here, bro. So you already know. We do that with everybody. Because everybody recently has lost somebody, you know, and it's not easy, and it do hit hard, especially when it's close to home, you know. But shoot, you know how we do it over here. I try to make sure that my peoples are in the best of spirits, even when they're going through their rough times. That's what real people do. But you gotta think about that. There's no way that some of y'all are not trying to say, all right, I believe in myself enough to do this. We got to. Some of y'all are allowing, you know, untimely passings or passings to also stop you from doing what's necessary. And I'm sorry to say that, but it is true. Some people are doing it. You know, they'll use certain, passings as a crutch to say, I can't do it. You gotta remember, even when somebody close to you passes on, you still gotta live your life. You still gotta move forward. It's not to sound crazy, but I'm being logical about it. There's nothing we can do to stop anything. Only thing we could do is pray, keep our faith strong, and then we just gotta move forward and also heal at the same time. You know? I hear you, Rooks. No doubt, no doubt. See you up here. We catch up with this Don chat. My fault. I hear you. Listen, that's all you can do right now in this time juncture, especially with everything switching up. Is just try to keep your faith strong. And see, and for some of y'all who again want to be lazy and don't want to try to do nothing, you could be helping towards the generational build. You could be helping towards the generational wealth by pulling your own. Yeah, you have to again start somewhere. But in the same token, come on, man. It's no more excuses now. Y'all could be doing things instead of just sitting around all day. Now, when you get yourself up and apply yourself and you in that field, then you could do all the things you want to do and not have to worry about nothing. It's prime example for some of y'all. You'll say that just being around the people all day, every day is a flex. To some degree, it's not a flex. Hence why I said time for you to start motivating yourself. You should want to be around the right type of motivation and positivity. You know, facts. That's another thing. That's another thing, East Dad. You know, it's true. You know, you only got one time to make things right in your life. You know, you don't want to grow old or gray, and you don't got nothing to at least show for it, or you didn't make the absolute adjustments that you should have made. Give me 1 second, y'all. Yeah, my bad. I'm back, son. I'm back. Certain sounds I'm trying to avoid because I know it messes up the sound quality. I know. But yeah, again, you know, some of y'all could be a part of, you know, growing the nation or growing the communities around you. You know, you really have one shot in life to try to make the best things possible for you and for your future loved ones, and the whole family tree. You know, but again, you have to think about what's best for you, and whatever you feel is best for you, whatever you feel is going to elevate you to the next level, you get up and you go make it work. Again, laying on your butt all day, running up and down the streets all day, that could have been time you was working and getting some real money. It's time for some of y'all to stop relying again on the government hand to feed you. I looked at it like this to a degree. You could do all the bragging you want about groceries and everything else, but it's not your money that paid for it. That's not a flex. In my opinion, it's actually pretty sad because what you relying on every month, you could have made triple that, even quadruple that out the month. Some of y'all was even crying again about working 15, 20 hours. How you crying about that? And for some of y'all that, oh, yeah, well, how you think you're going to keep your benefits? Especially if you quote unquote getting cash. How you think you're going to keep it? No doubt, Geraldine, baby, have a good one. Appreciate you, sis. Angela, baby. You know, you gotta think about it. You can propel yourself to higher levels if you just get up. And for some of y'all that was crying, oh, they want me to work, they want me to do this. Well, what the fuck you expect? And again, you crying when you got people who can't even get the damn assistance. Even the people that's living in places where the price of living is high. Once you already make a certain amount, you can't get no damn benefits. So what are you crying for? You crying about 15, 20 hours out of a damn week when you got people that are working probably 60 or better? Come on now. How is that fit? Shoot. How's that? You crying about something that you getting every month. And you could have been making more than that if you'd have worked throughout the whole month. See, some of y'all money driven, but just relying on government money. I don't give a damn how much you thought you was getting every month. At some point, you got to know it. Some of that is going to start cutting down. And honestly, I feel the way things are going to be, they're going to do some revamps on a lot of these different programs. Want to know why? Because there have been complaints to a degree about a lot of the things that are being taken for granted. And again, especially towards the people that actually need it. So something's going to have to get. Because I'm not going to lie, when they said 42 million people was going to be affected, I'm like, that's a large number, but also on the same token, how many of those 42 million people actually really need it? That's why I said I think they're going to start revamping certain things with these programs. And for some of y'all that think this is going to be a generational living tool, it's not going to gain you no real success, not going to gain you no real generational wealth, not going to put y'all in the spots that you feel you should be in. So at what point do you say, let me go apply myself and go work? Trust me, it's a lot of things that's going to be revamped. You trust me. And for some of y'all that think it's a game, okay. These last few scenarios we just had, mm-hmm, yeah. When it's all said and done, these things change up, you're gonna have to start working. There is no complaints now because it's either you gonna work or you gonna let your family suffer. Which one is it gonna be? And if you really claim to love your family and ride or die for your family shouldn't have to suffer because of your decision. You need to start making clear, executed decisions. And it is about that time. Like I said, I felt bad for those who really needed it, but I don't feel bad for the ones that don't need it because you could be making more than that if you find a field of operations that you want to be in and get to. Facts, you know. But yeah, think about that. You could be a part of being the greatest influence in life because you started off with something, you took your time, you made it work, and you was able to reap the benefits the way you're supposed to. And that would feel good, you know. Some of y'all could set your kids up in case you do want your kids to go to college, or if you want your kids to at least be financially set some way, somehow, in case anything does happen, at least you got it. You good. Like I said before, some of y'all flashing all of these expensive items and things like that, but you crying about EBT. How does that work? Shoot. I mean, you gotta think about it. Some they just don't want to work because they don't want to put in the time. You know, some of them are scared to even start working because they feel like, damn, I'm gonna miss out what's going on the block. I'm gonna miss out what's going on here. Man, listen. Same things you was already getting into is the same things you ain't gonna be missing out on. You know, that is the most important thing to remember. You know, you're gonna have your time to do certain things and hang and do all that other stuff. But when you start getting to a certain point in your life, nah, you gotta start making things work for you. And for some of y'all, you think you're just gonna be living off of not just the land, but living off your people. Nah. At some point, you gotta want to do for yourself. You know, 'cause nobody gonna hold your hand forever, and nobody's gonna be obligated to look out for you all the time. And for some of y'all, you should get out that lazy mindset. See, stop letting your pride, and again, stop letting your pride stop you from moving the goalposts where you need to move it to. Again, you want the best things for yourself. You want to make the best way for your family to live. You want to keep that generation going. You got to be the blueprint. And again, you got to be solid. Again, there's nothing wrong with elevating your mindset. Your mind is your most powerful tool. And some of y'all refuse to use it. And when some of you do use it, some of you ain't using it for anything but for the moment. You're not thinking about the long term. You're just thinking about the right now. But as we just seen, there's certain things that we are gonna have to be on the watch for because again, things about to start getting rough out here. All that laying on your back or like I said, running up and down the streets ain't getting you nowhere. And what is gonna get your family? Or what is gonna get you in the long run? Absolutely nothing. And if you don't start doing certain things, how you gonna eat? And what you gonna do? Rob and steal food? Like, come on there. Still stealing nonetheless. And again, you're stealing from yourself because you're stealing the opportunity away from yourself from being a better you. I stand firm in that message though. Oh, you already know. Got to, man. You know, again, times is getting hard, yes, and some people are doing and going through drastic things just to try to gain something. Instead of saying, let me go out there and go do something. Let me go out there and try to make the best of myself. So I don't have to do nothing that's gonna cost me penitentiary chances. Some of y'all still taking penitentiary chances. But again, it does come with a price. Because when you do get caught, there is no running from that. And you're gonna have to face whatever time they gonna give you. But you also want to be wise and aware and do certain things that again get you to the bigger places that you want to be in. Nothing wrong with that. Again, apply yourself. Stop just thinking about the quick come up, the easy scam, the jukes, all of that. That mindset is gone. And some of y'all creating and causing chaos over pennies and dollars. Some of y'all out here trying to rob and pillage your own peoples in your communities, and you ain't getting much of nothing. You doing some of the same old stuff that was done eons ago. It's time to wake up into reality. Stop living in that delusional fantasy that you got. You still got time to apply yourself and be the greatest person you can be. The only thing that's stopping you is you. And when it's all said and done, if you don't get it right, trust me, it'll be your own downfall. Nobody else's but yours. Set yourself up for higher places. Think positive. Yeah, it's critical now, man. There are people right now who barely had any job experience that are gaining employment and gaining these positions. So what's stopping you from getting in the position? Prime example for some of y'all who really do want to work in the medical field in any way, shape, or form. What's stopping you from getting it? Especially if this is something that you really want to do. I would advise anybody that's getting into any of these positions that I'm speaking about now or about to speak about. If this is something that you don't want to do, don't do it. Don't do it because you feel forced, and don't do it just because of a paycheck. Do it because you actually love what you do. Do it because it does bring you pride and inspiration and joy. Do it because, again, you're setting up the foundation the way you're supposed to set them up. If you don't want to be in these fields, then don't be in them. Prime example, if you can't deal with customer service or if you can't deal with customers at all, that's a field you shouldn't be in because, again, you're going to get frustrated. Some of these supermarkets still need people. Not all of these supermarkets and these big chain corporations is doing self checkout. So they still need people at them register. They still need people to do stock. Still need people to clean. Whatever you are trying to do, whatever you feel works for you, do it. Again, motivate yourself. And also be motivated by those who are doing great works. Your goal in life should never be quitting or taking the easy road. You got to grind hard. You got to do what's necessary because, again, it's for you. You know? I hear you, East Dad, and that's how I got to be. Again, oh, it's solely up to you. Because what you gonna do now when the pressure really starts adding on? What you gonna do when some of these programs, like I said, do change up? Oh, and I also want to say this too. Um, this kind of goes with what I was going with. Uh, Again, if you know you could barely afford to feed yourself or feed the mouth that you do have, and do not think that adding more kids is going to be better for you. Because at some point, they ain't going to be doing that. Like I said, I feel certain things are going to be revamped, and it's going to be to point where some of y'all not gonna be able to feed everybody forever. If they ain't young or school age, you ain't gonna be getting that. You gonna have to start working. And you should want to do something because again, you setting the blueprint for the young ones that you got. Nothing in life is gonna be passed down to you, given to you on a silver spoon, not unless you already got it like that. And not unless you already coming from that. So, you could be the start of building the generational wealth around you and yours, and then they could pass it on and so on and so forth. You know, not hard to do. Things in life should never be hard, but it is, you know. But also, I want to say this. The reason why I just said what I said about not adding more kids to your household or adding more kids to the family is again, things are about to start getting more expensive. Again, who knows when things will get back to a decent level. But until then, if you want to be having all these expensive things that you know for a fact you don't really need, shoot, I would tell some of y'all better start getting rid of it. Sell it. If you could get it, get it. But things that you don't need, don't, don't worry about obtaining it. Denise, baby. Remember this truth though. It's time for some of y'all to stand up, stand firm, and again, apply yourself to life. Nothing is gonna fall in your lap. Nothing is gonna be given to you. You're gonna have to earn everything. And see, some of y'all again have gotten into that mindset of being too entitled, feeling like you don't have to do nothing to gain something. Oh, but that's it. You already know he's dad. Appreciate you, my guy, man. Listen, stay warm out there, son. And you still owe me a PlayStation, son. Still owe me a PlayStation. Nah, but be safe out there, bro. You already. But again, what's stopping you from elevating? Some of y'all, again, allowing past traumas or traumas that you didn't have to personally deal with to set the mindset of they got to give me this. I'm owed this. They gonna do this. No, you got to do it. You already know he's dad. You already know my guy. But again, what's stopping you? Ask yourself that question, and then once you get a solid answer, start moving forward. Again, right now, times is critical. Who knows how worse it can be. But you want to be able to say that I was able to do what was necessary and start the tools to generational wealth. The reason why I also said that earlier about not adding no extra mouths to feed if you could barely feed you and the one you do got is because again, at some points, uh, things are about to change as far as the laws are concerned. Like I said already, two states think Ohio and Mississippi. If I'm not to be mistaken. No, definitely Ohio. Mandatory DNA testing at birth. Some of y'all need to hear this. Some of y'all out there who are thinking of or have probably already done the unthinkable. And again, it's going to start costing y'all. But at some point, you could get hit with paternal fraud. I'm not playing. Some of y'all is about to get worse. I think all these states at some point is going to push for that. And I think it should be because you got too many brothers out there, you got too many men out there, period, who are raising kids that are not theirs. And it's unfair, especially when some of these people are unbeknownst or they are not aware of what scenarios are transpired. If some of you are actually out there lying to the brothers, this is your kid, this is your kid, this is your kid. It's good again that they're going to start passing that. I'm sorry because in some instances, this will definitely give an eye opener to some of you out there that need to hear it. Not going to be able to scheme and scam your way out of this one. Now it's given the option for that person to decide they still want to sign or be a part of that child's life. But it also gives clarity for those, especially if you are building with the right ones. And for those who got a problem with that, and it's sad that you would think that way. If you think that's a problem, then maybe there is a problem. So this will make sure that, and also ensure that the right people get put on child support for being deadbeats, not the wrong one. But again, this will also give closure to the fathers out there. Or this will give closure to those who are unsure of paternity. I believe every state should pass that. Got two already. Let's see what the next state is going to be. Like I said, there's people out there who are being placed on or getting hit for child support for children that's not even there. Some people are actually raising kids again that are not there, thinking that it is there. That's unfair and it's wrong. It's wrong to lie to somebody, especially when it does have to deal with the child's paternity. Every person should know for a fact if that's their child or not. And honestly, I don't feel bad about if all the states do, approve it because guess what? That's also helping you ladies out because who knows? Your baby might have been swapped out. Could you imagine leaving out the hospital with who you thought was your baby and it's not your baby? That's something you need to think about. So for those that are getting upset about that, don't get upset about it because it works on both ends. You get to make sure and know that that's your child, and so does he. But trust me, there are situations like that that are still happening. People are getting babies mixed up. But yeah, it also lower down that statistic I told you about a while back about the 40% that are raising children that ain't there. It will lower that down. because now you're gonna know for a fact who yours are. Like I said, there's a lot of things that are about to start changing. And for some of y'all that think that the goal is to just have a whole bunch of kids and rely on assistance, at some point that assistance is not going to be helpful to you at all. So you're better off trying to get yourself in order, go find you a job or start creating your own business and doing what you need to do. But I feel tonight was just a piecing portion. And it's something I'm going to revisit again. I think it's good to have these talks because it's definitely needed. And this is just coming from a solid place. Don't hurt to apply yourself and to be greater in life. But you have to start making clear choices that are going to lead to better decisions. Process of elimination. Do what feels right. Do what you know is right. And don't let nobody stop you from taking flight. Because on any given day or night, you could be in a better position and be set for life. So, choice is really yours. I know some of y'all just coming in late. And again, I appreciate those in the shadows watching. Appreciate everybody who was definitely a part of the stream. Give me 1 second. I'll drop the link again because I thought I pinned it, but I didn't. I'll drop the link in case anybody want to chime in. You know. But yeah, we definitely got to start seeing the bigger picture. The bigger picture is striving for better and for greater. And in order for you to rise to that greatness, yeah, you're gonna have to put in work. You might take some losses, but those losses will bring lessons and give you again the encouragement to make better decisions and to create better possibilities. Nobody want to chime in today? It's cool. I didn't forget about y'all. No, it's still Scorpio season up in this month. For those celebrating birthdays this week, those that just celebrated birthdays this past weekend, we didn't forget about you. We didn't forget about you. Hopefully, y'all keep yourselves safe. And if you are celebrating right now, hopefully you keeping yourselves bundled up. Again, enjoying every moment of life. Don't take nothing for granted. Keep creating memories. Enjoy every minute of your day. Another year and another blessing around the sun. Already. I wasn't going to hold y'all all night, but I definitely just wanted to have this little talk and conversation. And again, I will be revisiting because again, you need to start motivating the people a little bit more. Sometimes it's going to be easy to get the message across. Other times, you got to come tough, solid love. One thing I would love is to see that everybody is building and growing in the right direction. So again, motivate yourselves to be greater. Think about not just yourself, but think about the family, especially the ones that your offspring, your pride and joys, your babies. Make sure you're doing the right things, showing them the right blueprints. They're gonna learn more from experience and what they see. They see that some of y'all not even willing to get up and go do something to bring food on the table. What is that going to say? But yeah, I appreciate everybody that tuned in. I could be back tomorrow with another convo. Light convo on some music. We'll see how this pops up. We see how this pops up. Oh, and I think I know what I am going to do. I'm going to say, if not Thanksgiving, you know what? I do something special on Christmas. I'll bring back something I was supposed to bring back a little bit ago, but I'm going to bring that back to the table. I'll definitely post it on my community. I'm going to invite those, again, to tune in, pop out, have a good time. Definitely about to bring back that poetry night, even if it's just for that night. Hopefully somebody got sent out this message today. And if the message didn't resonate with you, then it wasn't for you. Appreciate everybody that's been a part of the build, still becoming a part of the build. And yes, we still will have these great conversations. And when the link is dropped or a link is pinned, I already know. More than welcome to tune in. More than welcome to pop in. It's always good to get different feedbacks, views, and opinions, because that's what's needed nowadays. You know? And again, it's necessary to try to change the mindset. So for some of y'all, hopefully it give you inspiration. There are still fields that you could jump into, especially if you're good at what you craft. Again, you gotta want it. And you're gonna have to earn it. So get yourself up, kick all of that negative to the side, and move forward. You'll feel good doing so. And I didn't forget about y'all again. I didn't forget about y'all. Hold on. I ain't forget about y'all, but I appreciate everybody that tuned in. And even those in the shadows, y'all already know what it is. You know, y'all definitely keep grinding, keep rising. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. Be back tomorrow with some good vibes. And I again keep you posted, but I'm definitely gonna probably do that poetry night on Christmas. Maybe before then. Don't worry, I'll let y'all know. But let me get my ass up out of here. Hopefully y'all enjoy the rest of your evenings, mornings across seas. I already know it's probably going towards the afternoon for some. And I still need my lottery numbers for tomorrow tonight. So yeah. Appreciate y'all for rocking out. Get my ass up out of here though. If y'all was new to the channel, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to the replay game. Shout out to the Shadow Mafia and the Shadow Babies. Y'all know what it is, baby. For everybody that was in attendance tonight, y'all already know that love is love and it'll be reciprocated as such. I don't know how to be fake. All I can do is give you real. That's all I'm gonna do is give you real topics and real bills. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I need lamb chops on my plate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go check my AI shorts. I appreciate it. And if you need a good laugh or you need a good whatever, you already know what it is. Like I said, there's more coming. And there's more coming. Look at my thumbnail. Look at me. Look at me looking like a Star Force warrior out in this. Now, I appreciate y'all for rocking out, though. But y'all stay safe. Keep that third eye open. Until the next live, we out of here. Peace and blessings.